As president of Cochise College and on behalf of the College Governing Board, our faculty, staff, and students, I want to congratulate the classes of 2020 and 2021 on the completion of your academic programs and degrees. You've shown real resilience and true grit. You were asked to change how you took classes, how you interacted with others, and through these changes and added adversity, you have risen to the challenge. For this, you should be extremely proud. I know these past 15 months have not been as any of us expected, and I would have loved to have been on a stage in front of graduating students. Instead, I must applaud you from a distance and let you know that your accomplishments are recognized and appreciated. At least this year, you don't have to sit through a long ceremony. That said, let me add a few comments. This crisis has shown the critical need for educated and trained individuals, those who are ready to take on the challenge. From the scientists discovering new vaccines, to the social worker holding people and families together, from the nurse administering care and compassion, to the teacher preparing students for the future, despite not being together. From the computer scientist securing networks and providing increased broadband, to the plumber ready on a moment's notice for the increased demand as people are working and learning from home. We've come to realize that educated and trained people are critical. They're essential. They allow things to get done. You are now one of these people, one who will be called upon to go above and beyond, to serve your families, your neighbors, our communities, our country, even our planet and beyond. Without you, as trained, educated, and essential participants in our collective experience, we risk life as we know it in Arizona, particularly rural Arizona. We need people who will rise to the occasion, face the challenge, run towards the danger, address the crisis. So as you commence with your future, remember, we need you. No matter the crisis, horrific violence, industrial explosions, natural disasters, social injustices, or even a pandemic, we need our graduates to step up, respond, and assist those in need. I recently saw a replay of the Boston Marathon bombing. The visual was frightening at first to look at, but as I watched closer, I saw not the masses fleeing the danger, but the few going towards it. It was the community college graduates, the police officer, the paramedics, and the nurses running toward the explosion in an effort to protect their community, putting their life on the line. Community college graduates are there when we need them most. During times of crisis, it's the community college graduate that is running toward the danger. Which brings us to today. You have run toward the danger in completing your degrees during a pandemic. You'll begin your careers or continue your education at a time of true crisis. One day, you'll look back and realize you are a hero. You will have done something very few have done. You finished a degree during a pandemic. Let me say that again. You finished a degree during a pandemic. You will not find significant the missing of a traditional college graduation, or a nurse's pinning, or an honors colloquium, or a list of many other traditional things we do. But instead, you'll recall the significance of your achievement. In a time of crisis, you completed your degree. Oh, what a story you will tell. You ran toward the danger, not from it. May you go forward, knowing your accomplishment is real and recognized. We don't ask a lot of our graduates, just that you make the world a better place. Heal someone, cure a disease, bring peace and comfort to the needy, teach a child, solve problems. You know, just the simple things. I know you are up to the task. You have proven that. Congratulations. This year, our student speaker is Ms. Angela Moretz. Angela is a 2021 cybersecurity graduate and is the president of AFCEA, the Armed Forces Communications Electronics Association, a member of Phi Theta Kappa and the National Cyber League. She is married to Matthew and has 3 children, Gabriel, David, and Caleb. She was born and raised in Massachusetts, graduating from Lee High School. Her husband's military career brought them to Fort Huachuca, where they decided to stay and raise their family. She hopes to start her career on Fort Huachuca in the cybersecurity field after graduation. Please welcome Angela Moretz.
Cochise College Governing Board, President Rottweiler, students, instructors, family, and friends, thank you so much for being here today to support, encourage, and cheer on the graduating classes of 2020 and 2021. I would like to start by thanking a few people for their roles in supporting, encouraging, and cheering me on through these last few years. To my husband Matthew and my 3 boys Gabriel, David, and Caleb, who are the reason I started this journey and the reason I was able to finish it. For the late nights, the weekends cramming for tests, and the countless dinners of cereal they endured, and the love they poured into me every single day, reminding me that I can do this. To my parents who have been the greatest examples in my life and who celebrated every milestone on this journey with me. And finally, to the instructors who changed my life while attending Cochise College. To Mr. Epps, who never thought it beneath him to explain things that were probably simpler than I made them out to be, and for always keeping the classroom not only a place of learning, but also fun, and somewhere we looked forward to being come class time. To Mr. Graffour, who has a way of inspiring the students that is outside of the box, but pushed me to be smarter kid and do brilliant things, and who always kept me laughing even if it was at myself. And last but not least, to Mr. Gomet. I truly do not have the words to thank you enough. The doors of opportunity you opened for me, and sometimes pushed me through, are things that I will be grateful for my entire life. You never let me settle, always saw more potential in me, and reminded me constantly to use my stepwise refinement. They say it takes a village to raise a child, but I have found it to be equally true that it takes a village to help a student to graduate college. I cannot thank you all enough for being my village. When I was asked to consider speaking today, I panicked a bit. I have now read pages and blogs and watched speech after speech and sit to write only slightly more intimidated than ever. The person speaking should inspire. They should be witty and smart. They should encourage the graduating class to go forth and do amazing things. The truth of the matter is, though, as I think over my time here, the people I have encountered, the ones I've had the privilege to know and grow close to, and the ones I've passed by who smiled or held doors to the student union for me, it's you who have inspired me. I'm in awe of your resiliency, your perseverance, your courage. Our years here were not normal. They were shaped by a global pandemic, by quarantine and masks, by Zoom and missing our family and friends. And yet, despite these things, here you are. You did not quit. You stuck it out when it got hard. You pushed through all of those changes and did not let it beat you. Today, you are the inspiration. I'll never forget my very first day on this campus. I was so incredibly nervous. I'm a wife and a mom to 3 amazing young men, and I worked a full-time job. I sat at a table outside at the Sierra Vista campus staring at the most well-maintained green grass I had seen since living here, getting ready to take the placement tests, and I was just sitting there panicked, like, what am I even doing? See, I got married and started a family when I was 18. I was fresh out of high school and ready to see the world. And then my family spent the next 15 years sacrificing so much so that I could raise my children as a stay-at-home mom. I really thought I was ready to step out on my own adventure, but as I sat there immobilized by fear, I almost walked away and quit. And instead I did a super millennial move and posted a pic to Instagram captioned, "Today is the first day of the rest of my life." And I took a deep breath, and I went in and I took those tests. I started the degree plan I thought I wanted, and I did a few classes and then changed my mind. I switched to cybersecurity because it seemed like a safe investment into my family's future. I really had no idea what I was getting into. Mr. Gomet likes to meet the students before they jump into his program, and I will never know what he saw in me that day. I stepped into his office for a meeting, but it was like from then on, the cyber department was my second family. I've so often heard that as people grow older, their circles grow smaller. Attending school here, though, I found that to be such an opposite for me. I really mean it when I say I found my second family. It was not just among the instructors who by some grace allowed me to work among them as a lab aide, but also among the students. It is funny because one thing I have noticed in the cyber department is that it is filled with introverts. I mean, overflowing with shy and quiet students. I kind of stood out like a sore thumb. I never really grew out of that elementary school phase where everyone is my best friend. I am a good and grown adult sitting in classes with people who won't make eye contact with me like, hey, want to be my best friend? I like coffee, want to meet for coffee? And somehow I still manage to make friends. Not just acquaintances, but genuinely amazing friends. And in those friends, when things got hard, I found the courage to keep going. In their kindness and encouragement, I found a reason to get up and keep pushing and keep grinding through these classes. So much can happen in the 2-year time frame of a degree, or in my case, the 3 years. I learned so much humility and patience. I learned Python is not my thing, but at least I know now what a BIOS is. Life was really hard for me over these last few years, though. Laughing with some instructors while I lamented at what to even say in this speech, it was pointed out that the odds were really against me coming into this degree. The fact that these instructors even noticed that, and noticed that despite that I still made it, speaks to the quality of the faculty here. I was not just another number. I was seen this whole time. I won't drone on about each hurdle along the way, but I swear at least 3 times this semester, I genuinely considered quitting. I felt like life was trying to swallow me whole. There were days I did not want to get out of bed, let alone come to class. There were weeks that I could not write one more sentence. Physically exhausted and emotionally drained, bringing my kids to the lab so I could get work done, crying on the shoulder of instructors who I know were thinking, oh my gosh, this girl is an absolute train wreck, because I was. I just felt like I was never going to get a break as I bounced from one family emergency to the next. And yet, every time I came into those classes and I saw the faces of people like Laura, Austin, Tasha, Virginia, Bruce, Jason, and Jonathan, and so many more that I cannot even begin to name. Also, I'm like really bad with names, guys, sorry. But seriously, just seeing each of you motivated me so much to keep pushing. The volunteer hours, the club meetings, the homework, the papers, the tests. It was so much work, but being with all of you and the occasional Nerf war made it so much easier. It made it worth being a part of. I hope with my whole heart that I was able to make you guys smile through this half as much as you guys made me smile. I know I'm not the only one who has felt like these things over the last few years. Not the only one who wanted to quit so many times. Not the only one in this graduating class who is receiving their diploma today wondering, how on earth did I make it through this? We're a unique graduating class, my friends. We have spent these last years not just learning a future career path, but learning what it takes to be human in the face of the world that is so often unrelenting and cold. We have learned the power of community, the strength in numbers, the passion for a better tomorrow. We have learned to lean on each other when life gets so hard. We have learned to extend grace and mercy towards one another because these years have been crazy on everyone. We've learned to laugh and love with our whole hearts because we have also learned that tomorrow is not a promise. These graduating classes of 2020 and 2021 will go on to do amazing things. We will go on to make real-world changes because we are resilient and just as unrelenting as what we have lived through. So I stand here today and thank you for inspiring me, for making these years easier, for reminding me that even a wife and a mom who had everything working against her can do what feels like the impossible. Congratulations, graduates. You are the inspiring ones. Thank you.
And now we would like to recognize those individuals for whom this ceremony is intended. These are the students of Cochise College who have fulfilled their associate degree requirements. The Chief Academic Officer will present the classes of 2020 and 2021. The Governing Board Chair will then confer the degrees.
Dr. Rottweiler, upon recommendation of the faculty, I am very pleased, as Executive Vice President and Provost, to present the members of the classes of 2020 and 2021 who have applied for candidacy for the appropriate associate degree.
Mr. Chair, the members of the classes of 2020 and 2021 whose names appear in the printed program have applied for candidacy for their respective degrees at Cochise College, and I am pleased to recommend them to you for conferring of the appropriate associate's degree.
As chair of the governing board of Cochise College, and with the powers vested to that board by the state of Arizona, to each candidate having completed all academic requirements, I hereby confer the associate degree with all rights, privileges, and responsibilities pertaining thereto.